ever said something during an argument that you immediately wish you could take back? I know I have. Maybe your voice got sharp, or you said something cutting, or maybe you brought something up from the past that you didn't actually even want to bring up. And then later, when everything's settled, you thought, well, why did I say that? That isn't even how I really feel. I know for me, there were moments where I would leave a conversation and barely recognize how disconnected I had become from my own softness and clarity. And after working with thoughtful women navigating these same patterns, I've discovered how common it is to mistake nervous system protection for personality identification. And many people assume the pattern is simply a communication problem. But often what's actually happening is the nervous system protection response kicks in. When the nervous system senses emotional threat inside a relationship, the autonomic nervous system automatically shifts into protection mode. And this happens extremely fast, usually before conscious awareness fully catches up. That's why it's so confusing. And over time, most people develop a primary protection strategy that their nervous system automatically uses when connection starts feeling unsafe. And so we're going to talk about these 4 common nervous system responses that help you, that are actually protection responses. And once you understand them, the relationship conflict starts to make much more sense. Not because you or your partner are bad, but because nervous systems are trying to survive emotional threat. So the first one is the fight protection response. And some nervous systems try to push the threat away. And this can look like criticism or a sharp tone or sarcasm, frustration, or bringing up old issues, or suddenly becoming emotionally aggressive. But underneath this pattern, the nervous system is trying to create safety by creating distance from the perceived threat. So the second response is flight protection. Some nervous systems try to restore safety through escape. And this can look like wanting to leave the conversation or needing to physically get away, emotional withdrawing, fantasizing about ending the relationship, mentally checking out, or suddenly feeling like you need the distance and the freedom like immediately. For many women, this response feels incredibly confusing because once the nervous system settles, they often reconnect with how much they genuinely love the person. But during the activation stage of the nervous system, the body temporarily associates closeness with danger. So the nervous system attempts to create safety through distance or escape. And like many women, I've discovered this response is often misunderstood as not caring or fear of commitment, when underneath it's usually a nervous system trying to reduce emotional overwhelm. The third response is the freeze protection. This is the moment many women describe as, I lost my words, my mind went blank, or I just shut down. So the nervous system reduces stimulation in order to survive the moment. And this is especially common in thoughtful and sensitive women who later replay that conversation over and over, wondering why they couldn't say what they truly felt. The fourth is the fawn protection. Some nervous systems try to restore safety through appeasing, and this can look like over apologizing. Oh, I'm sorry. Or over explaining. You get nervous and you want to explain. Or quickly trying to smooth things over. People pleasing. Or even abandoning your own feelings in order to calm the other person. The body believes if the other person settles, I'll finally feel safe again. Now here's the important part. Many women assume these reactions mean something's wrong with them, but these are not personality flaws. They're protection strategies that the nervous system learned earlier in life when it was trying to keep you safe. That realization alone can soften so much shame. I know it did for me. Because most women are not consciously trying to disconnect during conflict. Their nervous system simply moved into automatic protection mode faster than awareness could intervene. And this is why insight alone often doesn't fully change these patterns. Understanding the pattern matters, it really matters, but actual change happens by gradually building the nervous system's capacity to remain present once the activation begins. And that is the missing bridge. Because when the body has enough capacity, awareness stays online longer. Choice stays accessible longer. Connection becomes possible again. Not perfectly, not instantly, but gradually. And this is also why so many self-aware women become frustrated with themselves. Outside of the activation, they're incredibly insightful. During emotional tension, the nervous system temporarily overrides that conscious intention. And afterward, they wonder, why did I react like that? So if you recognize yourself in any of these patterns, you are not alone. Many thoughtful, caring people discover that they react in ways that they don't actually want to when the nervous system moves into protection. The good news is that the nervous system can learn new patterns over time. It can slowly learn that conflict is survivable, that connection can remain safe, that repair is possible, and that you no longer have to disappear in order to protect yourself. And that is the deeper work of embodiment. Not becoming perfect, but becoming increasingly able to stay connected to yourself while the emotional pressure rises. Understanding these patterns can be incredibly validating, but eventually most women realize that they can't think their way out of a nervous system protection, because these reactions happen inside the body, which means healing requires more than insight. It requires practicing new relational experiences, building nervous system capacity, and learning how to remain connected to yourself while activation is actually happening in real time. In the next video, we're going to explore another question that many spiritually aware women have on their mind. Why can I not soften after conflict? So if you're interested in learning more about embodied repair and nervous system healing in real relationships, you can subscribe below. And if you want to understand why awareness can disappear during emotional pressure, you can also download my free guide below. It's called Why You Understand Yourself but Still Lose Yourself in Relationships. If this was helpful, let me know. I look forward to your comments. Until next time, have a great one.